Welcome back to Mind Your Own Business. We are here today in this segment with Amber Griffin. So Amber, I'm going to let you tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you,
Awesome.
ladies.
You're welcome.
My name is Amber Griffin, as you said, and I'm with Coldwell Banker United Realtors. I've been a licensed agent for the last 18 years in real estate. When I started in real estate, I was assisting top producers, so that's kind of where I came from. I had a background of helping others achieve success in real estate. So I happened to be taught and learned by a lot of fantastic women, especially women, realtors in our industry, and so it really gave me a launch for a lot of great things. So that's where I kind of came from.
Very cool. And so what are you doing now?
So now I have a team of my own with Coldwell Banker and have for the last few years. And it's just been, it's been a great ride, and I've loved mentoring my team, and they bring me joy, and you know, the iron sharpens iron kind of thing. It's really, you know, played out in our on our team.
You're
I'm a hand talker.
That's right, so am I. We get it, you're doing awesome.
Yeah, you are. So I know you've got, you know, some depth to your story like most people do. You want to share some of that? What part would you?
Sure, absolutely. So it's been about 5 years ago or 6 years ago that I started getting professionally coached in real estate on how to grow a team and how to leverage relationships in the team and how to service our clients better with, you know, checklists and you know, all the structure to service the clients. My hands are moving.
Just start that part over,
Okay.
but listen, you can move your hands.
Okay.
Yes.
Just don't slap your legs.
Okay.
Okay,
Which is my best.
yeah, all right, very good.
Okay, so it's been about 6 years ago or so I started getting coached in real estate on systems and procedures, how to have a better transaction with a client, which checklist, profit and loss budget, things that realtors really aren't good at. And it's been an amazing journey through that process. That's the time when I really started structuring my team and building that team. And had my foot on the gas, world on fire, like really achieving things, just really going places, and was really excited about life. And then almost 4 years ago now, I think it was, I lost my oldest son, Blaine. He was 25 years old, and it really shook my world off its complete axis. So, yeah. So it's been a really long journey to try to continue to live fully, and I didn't, of course. I had just recently married the love of my life, and I just felt really sad. He was great, by the way, but I just really felt so sad that he basically married somebody that he fell in love with, which was a fireball, and then he got a shell of me for a long time because it took a long journey to get back up, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah.
What effect did that obviously have on your business?
Oh, a tremendous effect on my business because I pretty much took my foot off the gas, and it was full speed ahead before. Yeah, and understandably, I just didn't really care about a lot of things except just finding my way through all the day-to-day stuff, right? You know.
You were still going to the office?
Yeah, I
doing
did.
those
I did.
have to do
I
things?
did. Well, at the time, I had a full-time assistant that literally saved me, picked me up, literally all my business, everything. Nobody knew that they knew that I was gone because she shared with my clients what was going on at the time. But nobody felt the impact of it, so I don't know what I would have done without that support. But yes, at some point, I, you know, just checked out and just was more like smell the roses, or I'm reading self-help books and just trying to make it through the motions, you know. So it's been a journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something shifted for you,
Yeah.
or we met you in November, or actually we met you at an event prior to November, but you came to our event in November. And, you know, what was it, what do you think was the shift initially? And then we could talk about some of the things we've done since then.
Okay. Well, I'd like to say when we met, I think it was October, November. November-ish? Okay.
November-ish,
I can't remember
yes,
what
October,
it was.
November, I can't remember.
So just to back up a little bit, this last year my husband and I started getting in investing stuff, and we wanted to start flipping properties. So I literally struggled all last year on top of the other things going on, trying to find a flip property to rehab. And of course, you would think, I'm a realtor, I can find one of those, but with our situation, not wanting to pull money out of the stock market, we needed hard money, and the gap had to be a certain divide and all those things. But anyway, it was a very huge struggle this last year trying to find that right property. And about the time we met, I'd like to go back and look at the date now, because dates are a big thing to me now.
Yeah, we will.
But about that time I met the two of you, we finally landed our first flip. So that was probably a God thing between all of that, by the way. So I mean, I know all of it is. But between me meeting you girls at the event and me being committed to coach that day, that was a mind shift thing. Totally, because literally I was just showing up where I needed to when I was supposed to, not on fire and not on purpose anymore. So when I met y'all that day at the half-day workshop, I was like, I used to get coached, I'm getting coached again, and I'm gonna be back, I'm gonna get back to me, you know?
Yeah.
And at the same time with that flip house property, as much as I wanted that house that whole year, we tried so hard, when we started looking at when we acquired it, when we closed on it, when we rehabbed it, every single symbol of this house has been something for my son. Every single thing. The day we got the offer. I mean, it's mind-blowing. You would not believe, I can't believe it, actually. I can believe it. It's just the craziest thing. Every single detail, from the closing date.
All can relate to your son.
To
at some
everything,
key point or
everything.
another.
The
Right.
offer price, the list price, and how we got to there. I mean, it's just been, we were gonna list at one price, and then something went on the market there, so we bumped our price up, and then I sat bolt upright in bed that night and was like, that number has to mean something to me. I'm like, that's the day he became an angel. I mean, every single thing, every offer date, we got 2 offers. The offer date, for this journey, it's helped me find my why again. So yeah, the company's named after him. Through the process, we committed to giving some of the net proceeds to things that I think he would be in favor of.
That's good.
And it just literally found my why again.
Got your wife.
And then too.
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. So tell us now, what is, I mean, we can obviously see, so what is your why? And what is the shift in mindset and the shift in the strategy? What is it bringing forth? What's your forward motion now?
What's not?
Oh,
Yeah, she is a little, she's back to fireball, I'm gonna give her that one.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, the new why, I guess, I gave me purpose again. Like, if I can contribute back, if I can do something to flip, I love. My husband and I are addicted to it, and we're in love with it. So that was a cool thing that we bonded over relationship-wise. But then knowing that it's honoring my son, and that it's giving back to something that took his life, and how I know God's going to use me to do that and affect others. So that's the big whys and what's happening, the shift. But going back to coaching again, and this is not, I'm not making it about you, I promise, but it really is about you girls, right? I mean, and it's about God too, I promise. No, I mean, now it's like I'm back to that girl that when was coached thought anything in the world was possible. And so since I'm being coached again, I am now writing a book. I am coaching people. I am now I've got staging jobs from the staging of the house that was built or was made in love of him. Blessings are just unfolding left and right. I have great new relationships and friendships, and I met a wonderful couple. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Showed the house to a wonderful couple, and we were bonding, and we're madly in love. And I just went to list their house on Sunday, and I'm selling the house. They're not buying mine because they couldn't get it in time. But we opened up all the wine, and we're sold. I mean, literally by the end of the story that I was selling with the house, I painted 7 pictures in that house. I started painting because of the project. And just random, I'm gonna go just paint some stuff and put it on the wall and see what happens. And I loved it. And 7 paintings went in this house. And so I was telling a friend of mine that. I said, I'm sure it means something, but I'm not sure what it was. And she says, his birthday was in July.
7 houses, right?
Seven paintings.
I mean, 7 paintings, yeah.
And then that hit me when I was speaking to my girlfriend that the 7th painting that went in the house was something I had bought from her 20-something years ago. It was at her shop. It wasn't her painting, and it wasn't my style anymore. It was flaking off, and I thought, I know a little bit about painting now. I'm going to paint right over it, and I did. And so the 7th picture that went in the house happened to be discovered through that conversation with her. So I'm sharing that with those clients, and they are crying with me. And they're like, we know God put us that house to meet you, not about the house. When I told them it sold, actually I said, I'm so sorry it sold already. They were like, that's great. We knew we were there just to meet you.
So
So
why don't we talk a little bit about the things that we've been focusing on in your coaching and your strategy of the change? Because one of the first things we did, and I really want to bring this out for everybody, because for me, it's extremely important to understand the numbers. And so, you know, I asked her, what did you make last year? What did you make the last 3 years? What did you make the last 5 years? What do you want to make this year? And then we sat down and said, okay, so there's going to be this much revenue comes out of what you're going to close. There's going to be this much revenue out of your team, this much revenue out of flipping. We know exactly how many houses and how much each of those should be profited at. When we get on the coaching calls, this is how I know I got to go get her, right? We go on the coach, she's like, oh, by the way, we need to add a new revenue stream because I'm going to start. I'm like, okay, no problem. I just pull up the schedule and we add in a new revenue stream, right?
I call those buckets.
Buckets, that's exactly what you call those.
Where are the buckets? Fill the buckets, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, what do you think? What was like maybe one of the first couple of things we did that you thought was extremely powerful?
Well, just looking at the damn numbers.
Yeah. You know what? By the way,
Yeah.
all of my clients call it that. They don't ever want to look at the numbers.
Right. I knew where they were-ish, but to really put it in black and white and see, like, oh, yeah, it was like very painful. And I think that's why I said to you, oh my God, this has been very painful. But you have to know the numbers to know where you're going.
That's right. Because so often in the mindset of numbers is that we feel that when we look, then we're going to start judging ourselves, right? And that chatter starts in our head and starts talking about what we didn't do or we thought we should have done better. And all that chatter gets rolling. Once you can take a deep breath and follow that guidance of knowing the numbers. How many of you really know the numbers? You don't have to raise your hand, but you can. How many of you really know the numbers?
Yeah.
Because you mostly know the numbers here, right? Oh, well, and that's not the true numbers. Sometimes it's surprising to find out how well you did, right?
Right.
But you certainly know then from that what direction and how to get to where you're going.
Yeah, we have a schedule that we're working from that has all of her revenue streams broken out by quarter, by month. And so we're completing it as we go. We can see how far we are to the goal, how far we are away from the goal. And we sat down and said, okay, we think we can accomplish 20% in the first quarter and 40% in the second. You know, we got that detailed about it. So
I know it's with some of our clients we've worked with over the years where they won't do the numbers. Michelle said, you don't do the numbers?
Yeah, there are people who will not.
Won't do the numbers. Okay, great. Well, until you talk to Melanie and you get past what's going on about you and your numbers. Seriously, that's because what's critical here is strategy is great information. And if you don't act on it, what? It's just great information.
Right.
And mindset's great head to understand, but if you don't have the strategy, you can't also take the action. So that's
Yeah.
what's
So as we got clear on the numbers, and I'm just
Yeah.
going to talk for you for a minute.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
Well, did you want to add something to that?
No, well, I want to say that the reason I didn't want to look at the numbers is I didn't want to do anything about them.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't that I was going to shame myself, I just didn't want to get up and do anything about it.
That's right. But for whatever the reason, matter or
Right,
not,
right.
right? You were, I gotta look at the numbers
Right.
someday, right?
Yes. And as soon as I committed to doing that, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, I just like have a roadmap again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we said, okay, what are you going to do to achieve the numbers, right? There's the next step in the strategy
Right.
is looking at how are you going to market it? Who, you know, are you, she has a team, right? So we needed to have conversations with the team members and say, what are you committing to? And what does that look like for us as a team? We went back and said, okay, so how long you been holding on to those postcards you're going to send out, right?
Right.
That never seem to get sent out, and now that's part of the strategy. And so we have several of those kind of strategies in place.
Right, and I also want to say that Katina Bulletchest, who's on my team, I also went back to her and said, I'm sorry, I've let you down this year. Remember this conversation?
Very good.
And I was not the leader that I needed to be, but I'm committed to meeting that again.
Right,
So
right.
we're a great team. I think we have a great team. Have a lot of love.
Well, with a
Yeah,
great team
but-
leader, a team, you know, when the team wins, the team leader wins, right?
We
So
all
it's a-
win. We all win.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So.
So lots of strategies in place, lots of roadmaps, and then again, I usually get on the call, I'm like, well, let me just tell you all the things I got going on right now.
That's exactly how it is. Every time.
And I'm like, oh, but I didn't get to that. I didn't get to that little thing I didn't really want to do.
I gotta do that one,
But I
right?
gotta do it still.
I gotta do it, right?
Mhm, exactly. All right, very good. Anything else you want to add here before I ask them if they have
I think
questions?
I'm good.
Okay, very good. So anyone out there want to, yep, I see hands already. Look, the mic is down on that end if you don't mind passing it down.
Amber, first and foremost, thank you for sharing. Your story was touching, which is one of the reasons why I even came to work with you. That was our interview, and we both were crying and fell in love, and now I've been with you for about 3 years now, so I thank you for sharing it. I have a question, and I'm Katina Chimney with Coldwell Banker Realty Memorial Office. When you say the things that you don't want to do, what strategy or mindset have they coached you to get over the things that you don't want to do? The little things. I mean, you can get excited about things you're confident about doing and you want to do, but the little things that may make the difference, what's your mindset or strategy for that?
For me personally, what I can say is when I found my new why again for me, and you may have your why already, right? But I mean, I had to refine mine. For me, the new why blew so much life into me that everything else doesn't, there's nothing I don't want to do now.
And I'll add to that and say that sometimes when we are looking at our business, and this can happen for me, I'm a business strategist, but I'm still trying to run my own business, right? We can complicate things and we can, you know, and so we would talk about strategies and my goal is to look for what's the simplest, easiest. Should you be doing it? Should somebody on your team be doing it? You know, break it down to just the most simple steps that I possibly can, and then you can just
Right.
take that step, right? So,
Right, we did talk about all that, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's gonna do this for you? What are you gonna do?
right.
Yeah, most of the time, what gets wound up in the mindset is you're looking at the big stuff, and that's why you're asking about the little stuff. So we have this conversation called break it down, break it down, break it down. I'll never forget one time myself personally, I had to generate $45,000 in about 7 weeks. And so it was like I broke it down through her guidance as coach, broke it down to what do I need to generate today and every day over this next 6 weeks, and landed it at about halfway through the 6-week period of time, right? It's break it down. It's learn how to get out of the big scene and bring it down to the little things, and then we can find out what mindset blockage is going on, if there is any, and take
Right.
and take
I
the
will say that
actions.
when my clients continue to say, oh, I didn't get to that. Oh, I didn't get to that. Oh, I didn't get to that. And I see that for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm like, okay, you're calling Bellamy. Right? Because it's a mindset issue. Because we will avoid that which we don't want to do.
Speak soon.
Very good. So I saw a hand right behind you. Thank you very much.
But Houston is so vast that we have other universes, you know,
Right?
doing business as well. And in my area, you can't swing a dead cat and not hit new construction. So buyers are coming. They're coming by the truckloads. But how do you find them?
Right.
So
And you
what's the
reach them.
mindset for sitting in a very rich opportunity, that landscape's very rich out
Right.
where I am, and finding the buyers to come in and fill those homes?
So my first question actually would be your question. And that would be, is there the belief there that
Yeah.
she can fill them?
Yeah, so first you have to come to the belief and empower within yourself that they're there for you. You guys, nothing was ever created or done in the past, in the present, or in the future to be that isn't first imagined. So you think when they start coming, then you can believe that you're gonna have them? I'm saying you have to see them coming here first, and then they will appear. Visualization is a process, and the creation of them showing up literally will have them showing up at your door.
Would you like to come to Tomball with me?
I'm serious. And clearly, it has to start at home, in here. As long as you are occupying the conversation that you're currently having, right, as a real conversation, and that's true with all of it, even the rural areas, right, and the land. You have to first imagine that they're coming to you, because they're coming somewhere, and you're having a conversation that they're not coming to you. You're 100% accurate. So just shift the accuracy.
Sorry, I want
Okay.
to add to that. Sorry, not trying to hog it. So I'm just gonna like say, I think what a lot of people are thinking is that one of the struggles today as a realtor is the mindset of the buyer that's out there. So you're gonna envision them coming there, but you got a buyer going, wait a second, I don't need you to find the property, right? This all new construction. I can walk in the door and I can do that. So one of the things that we have to get good at is understand why the buyer needs us to guide them through that process and what it is that we're going to offer.
Exactly. You get clear about that, and then envision that they know that, and then they will be there.
Yeah, and that's.
And I know this may sound a little airy-fairy. I'm not airy-fairy. I'm factual delivery that it works. So you're exactly accurate. You have got to first be that they're there for your help. I heard a whole other conversation I probably shouldn't say on the air, but I'll tell you on the break. Seriously, about they need you. Even if they're going to the new property, they need you.
And then it's very important that we get really clear on who we're looking for and who
That's
we're
right.
expecting to show up. So do you want the person who thinks, oh, I can just go find the property myself? No, let them be out there finding the property themselves. There's a ton of us that don't think that, by the way, guys. Right? So you create who you're looking for and get very clear, speak their language, market to them, show up where they are, and it works.
And you'll be led to knowing where to show up, that they are.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
gonna
their
have
minds
to.
are really going
I'm
down,
telling
right?
you.
Their minds are really.
But,
Mic drop.
yes, I was gonna say, we're gonna leave it on that one because we have to wrap this show up. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you to both of our guests for being here. Melanie, any closing words you wanna?
Oh gosh, me without words? You stopped me in the middle of my words. I gotta say. It's just been awesome being with you, and what an attentive and enjoyable audience that you've been in. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Sherry, for your guests as well.
Yeah. Wonderful first show. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.